This video is dedicated to anyone who relates to the title, anyone who has been on their growth journey for years. They are really deep into introspection and self-development, self-growth, and they've changed a lot of toxic patterns about themselves, and they just someone who has growth as a really core value to them and has been working on themselves. And also somebody who, like, while that is going on, keeps getting into situations where people hurt them, and like similar people hurt them over and over, where they're manipulated, taken advantage of, taken for granted, and yeah, just like having both of those things going on at once, and why no matter how much you heal, you feel like you can't get out of this situation that just keeps coming up for you. I'm not a guru. This is just like unfiltered self-reflection that I hope someone else will find useful. I've been thinking about it for hours. People say that they like have a download. That's what I feel like just happened to me. I feel like something that I kind of understood parts of, I finally like blended all the parts, it clicked for me, and I understand it now. I've never done a YouTube video before, so I'm kind of nervous. I don't really know how to talk to a camera, but I'm going to try my best anyway. And I'm also a very metaphorical person, so I'm gonna be drawing a picture, because I don't know how else to like explain this shit. So that's what's gonna happen. So, and I'm also gonna pause a lot. I'm gonna have to edit this like hell, because I can't just like keep talking. It doesn't happen. But okay, yeah. So this is for people who you're growing a lot, but you're also in situations where like you're being screwed over and over, and all your friends around you are like, oh my god, like, screw that person, like, they're horrible, they're a terrible person, how dare they treat you that way, like, you're amazing, you deserve better. But, you know, they've watched you go through this multiple times. Like, you know that you deserve better, but you're not finding better, you're not giving yourself better. So, I don't know, I'm gonna try to draw out what this is to me, like, in my brain, like, what I see now when I think about this. So I'm just gonna cut to it. I'm just gonna draw and I'm gonna cut to it. Okay, I drew my picture. It's kind of like horrible, but it's what we're working with. So I know that it looks like sausage links connected to stars, but I'm gonna explain everything. Every single thing in here is a symbol. So if we look at this as you and this as another person, I want you to view these circles down here as like your origins. Like, this is your origin, this is where you came from, this is how you were when you started, when you were like, when you met that catalyst that made you want to be a better person. Like, this is the start of your growth journey, and then this is another person, like, this is the start of their growth journey. So yeah, and then the sausage link looking thing, those to me are rubber bands. Like, that's my whole metaphor for everything I'm going to talk about in this video, is rubber bands. Sorry, there's like a car getting awfully close to me. Yeah, so I'm gonna try my best to explain. I am not used to recording myself. This is like hard. But okay, so a rubber band is like a shift in your identity, like a lesson you've learned, a point where you've grown. So an example would be like learning communication skills. Like, you go from being that person who doesn't bring issues up to being that person who, like, as soon as there's any resentment, you bring something up like, hey, I want to talk about this, and you resolve it with the person instead of letting it bubble up. So that would be like a rubber band. Like, you had to stretch yourself. That's where the whole rubber band thing comes from. You had to stretch yourself in order to get to this new perspective that you are now using to be a better person. So yeah, I kind of drew like these healing journeys, like this is yours and this is another person's, as like a series of rubber bands. So this is a series of times that you stretched yourself in order to like become a better person. So you might notice like this one is longer and this one is shorter, and then also the rubber bands in this one are shorter than these. Like, they're, yeah, like it took less time to, like, I don't know, like, get them into the journey. I don't know. It took less time for those lessons to be learned. And then in this one, like, it's shorter as in like amount of time, and then also it took more time to learn those lessons. So yeah, obviously the star is like where you are now and where this person is now. So yeah, the reason that these are shorter and like, you know, you took less time to learn these lessons, let's say that you had not a perfect childhood, but you know, you had a support system or you had something in your life that made your growth pretty fast, whether that be motivation, people cheering you on, lots of knowledge, just, you know, wanting to be a better person. And let's say that this person took some time because maybe they didn't have that support system, or maybe they didn't have that knowledge, they weren't seeking it out, or maybe they just, you know, had to take that time to learn these lessons. So the reason that this star is over here and this star is over here is because these two people had, one, such different origins, but also such different growth journeys. And they might look like they're in the same direction, but they're not close to each other. Like, the spots that these two people have ended up in are very far away from each other. And if you think of like where you are right now as like whatever rubber band you're working on right now, you would have to stretch that rubber band all the way to here to meet that other person. So this represents like, okay, these two people have met and they're getting to know each other. They don't know it, but like this person's there, this person is pretty far away. But you know, they're both working on themselves, so they might kind of view that as a commonality between them. So they might like view themselves as similar, like, okay, like we're both growing, we're both like developing as people, okay? And then they're also, you know, there might be some sort of attraction between these two, whether it be romantic, sexual, platonic. Like, these two people, they want to be getting to know each other for whatever reason. So let's say that things are going really well at first. You guys really seem to like each other, no matter what type of relationship it is. Like, you're really getting along and you do have a lot in common. But further down the line, in order to meet in the middle, kind of, and like understand each other a bit, both of you are going to need to stretch pretty far. Let me draw that out. So like a midpoint, and then like your rubber band that you're currently working on, stretching like hell to get there. There we go. See, it's like that rubber band, it's going through some stress, and that's you. That is you right now. The rubber band, the rubber band that you're on right now, like the life lesson that you're learning right now, the way that you're growing right now, that is you. So you're like stretching yourself to meet this person in the middle and understand them, or like understand some of them, or compromise, especially like if this is a relationship, like that's the compromise spot between you two. And like, even though that's the happy medium between you, it's stressing both of you out. Like, both of you are kind of like not doing it too well in order to get there. So yeah, this relates basically to how, like, whether it's a friendship, relationship, family member, whatever type of relationship you have going on, if you two are in really different spots in terms of emotional maturity, emotional intelligence, just like perspectives you've gained through life, like how you see the world and how you show up in the world, if those spots are really dramatically different, you're going to have to stretch in order to meet that person in the middle. And then also, if you're I'm gonna say like codependent, that's like a whole other bag to unpack, or box to unpack, whatever. But if you're the type of person who puts your needs aside and you try your best to just meet someone else's needs and like meet this person where they're at and kind of ignore where you're at, like, your rubber band is going to have to go double the distance. Like, that's not going to work out well for you. You're going to snap. You're gonna feel like you're going crazy. You're gonna just like lose it on this person, because like you can't go that far. Like, you can't take someone who, let's say that you have more emotional maturity than someone, like you're more communicative, you have better communication skills, you like, I don't know, you view things in a way where you're just trying to like productively sort things out, and they're like stuck in their ego. Like, they don't take anything you're saying seriously. They're just like annoyed by you having needs. Like, if your emotional intelligence is up here and theirs is down here, If you're trying to meet them where they're at and explain your whole world to them, you're gonna be stretching that rubber band like across the paper. Like, you're not gonna be okay. You're not gonna be having a good time. So basically, the point is, like, these two people, even though they're both working on themselves, they're both growing, they're both trying, they're not compatible because they're in really different places and they're not in the same like stage of life as each other. And even if they care for one another, like, they're going to snap at some point. It's inevitable. Like, they're gonna snap unless they can get where they are now to move closer. And I feel like, you know, there are definitely like relationships and friendships and family dynamics out there where they started in really different spots and they did get closer. But one, this takes time, and two, especially if this is a romantic relationship, like, sometimes you don't have that time to give. Like, you can't just wait around while someone is like building their journey closer to yours. Like, that's not fair to you. That's not really fair to them. The reason that you don't have time to be waiting around for this person to get where they are now, closer to you, is because through each of these rubber bands, each of these like life lessons, each of these realizations about yourself or about life, you have gained new needs. Like, once you learn what self-respect is, you now have the need for that other person to respect you. Like, you always had that need, but you're now aware and you expect this person to respect you. Like, you know what you're worth, you know what you value, and you want someone else close to you in your life to respect all of that. So yeah, the more of like these rubber bands you go through, the more aware of your needs you get. And like, if somebody has like less than you or different ones than you, they might not be aware of these needs for them or for you. Like, they might not really understand why that need exists. They might not understand how to fulfill it for you or for them, what to look for in other people to fulfill that need. Like, they might not even know that that need exists, especially since all of us are taught that emotional needs don't really matter. Like, in the US, like, this is a hustle culture. Like, no one gives a shit about feelings. We're all just going. And that doesn't give any of us what we need to figure out, like, you know, why do I need to feel respected? Why do I need to feel prioritized if this is like a really close relationship? You know, why do I want back what I give? Like, what are all these needs? Like, we're not really taught that. So you are here, you went through all of this shit, whatever this was, all of these different rubber bands are different life lessons where you had to stretch yourself in order to get there and in order to change and become who you are now. And if this person doesn't have many similar rubber bands as you, they're not going to understand where you're at. They're not going to understand how you got there. They're not going to understand what you need now that you're there. And they're going to have different needs than you. They might not really know their needs if they haven't been through a sufficient amount of rubber bands. Yeah, so in order for someone to understand what you need and fulfill that for you, they're going to need to understand how you got to where you are. So for you to ask, for you to like stretch your rubber band over to them and be like, hey, you know, where's my respect? Where's my princess treatment? Where are, you know, like, just whatever you would need from whatever type of relationship it is. Like, you can't expect that of this person because they have no idea what's going on. Like, they haven't gone through the same ones as you. So in order for someone to actually be someone who is like going to grow alongside you and understand where you're at, they need their little like star thing to be within like a stretchable distance that's like comfortable. Like, you're not dying. Like, you're stretching, but you're not gonna snap. You're just gonna grow. You're just going to, you know, finish off that rubber band, start a new one. You're gonna like learn with them. You're both going to stretch each other, but not to the point of stress or breaking. Maybe stress, but like not breaking. And you're gonna be able to be who you want to be and be better and grow without them neglecting you or neglecting your needs because they actually know what's going on. See, like, if I like did the sausage link looking thing, they might have like a similar path as you. And like these people exist. Like some of your friends who like you feel just get you, they've probably been through like similar things as you. They probably understand what your needs are. They're probably close to you, like where they are. So they're probably not having to stretch in order like to meet you where you are at, because they understand where you are, because they're close. Like if I'm 2 feet away from you and I say, hey, like come and look at the view from where I'm at, you just have to take a couple steps. But if I'm across the country from you and I say, hey, come look at the world from where I am, you can't just like step over. You're gonna have to take a flight. You're gonna have to invest time and money. Another thing is like, let's say that you like are this rubber band that you're on right now. If you are stretching in order to meet someone in the middle, or stretching in order to like understand someone who's really, really far away from you, like emotionally, like you're never gonna feel like you're in your prime with them. Like when I've been in situations where like I was stretching myself in order to like meet someone's needs and like understand someone who was clearly, you know, not similar to me emotionally, I like had this feeling that they didn't really know me because they hadn't seen me at my best. Like I was not myself around them because of the stress that I was under while I was with them. And for that reason, I'm like shit, like they've never known me in my prime. Like they've never seen me at my best. Like they don't know me. And I kind of viewed it as like, oh, like it's probably because of like other stuff. Like I'm probably stressed about like coursework. I'm probably stressed about my job. Like it's probably not them. You know, like I viewed other stuff as the reasons I was so stressed. And I was like, okay, like once I get through this, I won't be stressed anymore. Once I get over this, once I figure this out, I'm not going to be all stressed anymore, and I'll like be my best, and this person will be able to see me and understand me and know me. But no, like if you are stretching like this, you're not going to be at your best. They're never going to see you in your prime while you're attached to them. Like they are not going to see you at your best if they are the reason that you're not at your best. And you're not at your best if you're stretching this far to where you're going to snap. But you know, this person who you're like healthily attached to, they can see you at your best because you're just like, you might be stretching to understand them a little bit, but kind of within reason, like within like kind of that just outside of your comfort zone, but not, you know, across the world from your comfort zone. Like they can see you at your best because they actually are like fertile ground for your growth, instead of making you like stretch yourself too thin and like you're going to snap. So they can get to know you. They can see you for you. They can see and understand you. They can see you at your best because they actually nurture that. They actually make it so you can be at your best. So yeah, if you're unhealthily attached to someone who's like way far away from you, that's not going to happen. They're never going to know you. They are never going to see you the way that you want to be seen. Like, because they're not going to let you be your best around them, basically. Another really important thing that I realized with this, and that kind of like, this is what really made it click for me, was realizing that you and this person, like, it's not a necessity for one of you to be bad. Like, one of you doesn't need to be the villain in order for this to hurt you. Like, this is gonna hurt you because you're far away and you just like stretch yourself too thin and you might snap. But that doesn't mean that either person has to be bad. Like, they don't have to be the reason that stuff is going wrong. They can just be incompatible with you. So like, you know, if you hate your ex, or you hate your like ex-friend, or you hate like just anyone who has like made you feel like uncared for or unprioritized, deprioritized, anyone who's made you feel disrespected, like yes, they did disrespect you, but in order to forgive them, and people say like forgiveness like sets you free, the way that I have found is like the best way for me to forgive people is realizing that they don't need to be a bad person. I just need to view them as incompatible with me. Because like, just because this is what their journey looks like and this is what mine looks like neither journey has to be bad, neither it has to be like wrong. It just, both of them are in progress and they're at really different spots right now. So what I mean by no one has to be the villain is like, you know, when you vent about someone who makes you feel horrible, you're kind of villainizing them. And that's fine. Like, you should be able to vent about your like situations and like get your emotions out. But in the long run, when you're healing from it and you want to forgive this person, I feel like viewing them as someone who just doesn't understand you and you don't understand them is fine. Like, yes, they hurt you by like neglecting you, taking you for granted, all of these things that you felt like they were doing, disrespecting you, just not meeting your needs. Just because this person didn't meet your needs, that doesn't mean that they have to be a bad person in your head. Like, they didn't meet your needs because they didn't understand them. And yes, that sucks, but it doesn't need to mean that they're a villain. You don't have to like make them the villain in your story anymore. And also, like, they might see you as the villain in their story, like, regardless of what happened. Like, they probably do if stuff ended badly, but in a way, you could be viewed as that because you know, if you're further along in a journey and you go up and like take someone who isn't very far in their journey and you expect things of them that you would expect of yourself in their situation, kind of, that's stretching them really thin. Like, that is hurting them, that is stressing them out. And like, yes, you deserve someone who treats you really well, but they are probably also hurting from, no matter how well you're treating them, like, they're also probably hurting from the stretching that they're doing. So yeah, I used to think that it was like cruel to avoid closeness with people who weren't in the same spot mentally as I was or emotionally. I kind of viewed it as like wrong for me to treat them differently, wrong for me to avoid being as close with them. But now I kind of view it as kind to give them space and love them from a distance, or just not really engage with them at all, if that's like the vibe. I view it as kind to keep your distance so that they don't have to stretch to you, because stretching is stressful and it can hurt people regardless of whether they seem like a good person or a bad person. I just think this process of stretching is inherently painful, whether you're someone who has high emotional intelligence or low emotional intelligence. If you're stretching for somebody, I think that inherently hurts whoever is stretching. So I don't think that it's like messed up for me to avoid people who, you know, aren't aligned with me, because it's honestly doing them a favor too. Like, that they also won't have to stretch, they also won't have to feel as confused as I'm feeling. Like, I don't know, I feel like it's kind to give people space when they aren't aligned with you. It's not cruel, you're not avoiding them, you're not like singling them out and like, you know, demonizing them, you're not judging them. You are just giving them that space to grow that you like would need yourself if you were in their situation. And like, this is same the other way. Like, if you feel like you haven't grown very much, or like you're in the process of growing, you don't really feel like you're you yet, like, you might need time to grow before being really close to someone who's really confident in themselves and has a lot of love for themselves and knows who they are. Because, you know, you need time to get there before you can really connect with that person, because otherwise you're going to be stretching to kind of be where they're at. Like, it's going to be painful for you to like kind of try to identify with them. So yeah, my point is, like, it's okay to ensure that your closest circle of people is people who are aligned with you, because otherwise you're gonna end up being stretched too thin. You're gonna, like, you and them are both going to be stretched too thin. And yes, you can work to be closer to each other in terms of where you're at, but a lot of stretching is going to happen in order to get there. And if that stretching isn't worth it to you, it's okay to leave. Like, you're not wrong, you're not mean for leaving, you're giving them space that they need in order to grow. So yeah, if you keep repeatedly going after people who are far away from you, and you keep stretching yourself in order to get close to them, after a few times, like, that's on you. Like, you know better now, you've been mistreated enough times, like, you know that something isn't working, like, you know that you're stretching yourself in some way. And that's something that I realized lately. Like, I keep ignoring my own needs and then meeting other people's needs, and meeting like who they are. Like I don't like morph to who they are, but I kind of just only show them parts of myself that I feel like are aligned with them. And I don't show them parts of myself that are not aligned with them. Like that would show that this space exists. And I feel like it's really important to show that that space exists so that everyone knows what's going on and you can act accordingly. So if they say something like how they don't really view themselves as adventurous or they don't really like to try new things. Me, I'm a very adventurous person. I like to try new things. I like to go out places. I like to explore. I like to travel. So if somebody is telling me that they don't really like those things, like something that I used to do a lot and I'm hoping I don't continue to do, is I wouldn't necessarily lie and say like, oh yeah, same, but more like I would kind of just downplay those parts of myself in front of them. Like if I know that they don't like something and I love that thing, I like that thing, like it's okay. Like I don't express it fully, like I don't express myself fully, that part of myself, because I know that there's distance and I want to downplay that distance so that I can get close to them. And that, that almost sounds manipulative. Like I just did it unconsciously because, I wanted to be close with them, but no, that just brings someone who isn't aligned with you closer to you, and it almost tricks them in a way, and it almost tricks you in a way because you think that things are working really well and that you're so common, you have so many things in common, but really you're just downplaying parts of yourself that make you feel different. If you downplay parts of yourself that are different between the two of you, and you downplay your needs, and you just kind of act like, oh yeah, I'm fine with whatever, this person is going to eventually just stomp on those needs because you've led them to think that they're not important. So if later you are suddenly this is really important to me, or oh, I'm this way, that's so different than you, they're caught off guard. They didn't know, they were thinking that you're just this person who was going to morph to them, and they were probably enjoying that. You're probably attracting people who want you to morph to them. They probably are taking advantage of that behavior. So yeah, you don't want to draw people in by being this blank slate person where it's just anything that you have in common you'll express, but anything you don't have in common you'll kind of downplay. That's just setting both of you up for failure and for them disrespecting you because they don't know you and they don't know that this distance exists, and you showing that distance later, it just becomes a problem then, because you set yourself up so close that then when you show where you really are, then you're stretching, and then things get stressful, and then things start to go wrong. So yeah, if you set yourself up in a friendship, relationship, whatever, you're this, aligned with each other, and then you slowly show yourself, you slowly get more comfortable expressing what your actual needs are and who you actually are, they're probably going to be expressing more of themselves too. That distance is just going to widen and widen to where it actually is. And yeah, if it's too far, one of you is going to snap. Both of you might snap. Both of you are being stretched. And you guys are not at your best when you're with each other because you're too far apart to be in that healthy growth stretching range. You're in that unhealthy, being spread too thin, going crazy range where things are going to go wrong. So yeah, basically this video, I made it because I realized that even though I've had a lot of people disrespect me and do things that I think I would never be able to do to somebody, I understand their position more because I understand that they weren't aligned with me and I was trying to be aligned with them. And I was trying to love them and care for them, but I was not acknowledging that this distance exists, and I just kind of set myself up to be disrespected, and I stretched further and further, and either they snapped and did something terrible to me, or technically typically when I snap, that means I'm leaving. My rubber band snapping is typically me being okay, I'm not dealing with this anymore. I'm not taking this disrespect anymore. I'm out of here. But yeah, I just realized that the reason I keep getting in these situations, which it hasn't happened that many times, 3 big ones. But yeah, the reason I keep getting in these situations, and the reason you might be getting in these situations, is because you're not acknowledging when you're just not aligned with someone. Like, that just isn't your person. And trying to make them your person or make yourself into their person isn't going to ever make it so you guys are both healthy and growing together. Like, you're just going to be stretching for each other, and it's not good for you. So yeah, I don't know what else I wanted to say about this, but basically, some people aren't bad people. They're just people who aren't like you, and they haven't had a similar path as you. They don't like see the world in a similar way to you, and when you try to get close with them, they might snap and they might hurt you. So I think I and anyone who relates to this, we just have to be more careful of who we try to get close with and who we spend all that time with, and make sure that these are people who make us feel like we're growing, make us feel like we're at our best, or like, you know, people who we can be our best around, people who understand us at least a bit. I know that we can't all read each other's minds, but like, you know, there has to be some sort of mutual connection, understanding. And yeah, so in order to not be disrespected, just don't get close to someone who has to snap to get to you, because it's not going to go well. They're never gonna see you at your best. It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna go well. So yeah, I've never made a YouTube video before. I hope this wasn't unbearable. I know that the lighting is getting bad now. I'm in a random parking lot because I'm too scared to record in my house because I don't like people hearing me. But yeah, I would like to make this a channel where I just like have this unfiltered self-reflection and hopefully help people who are in similar spots as me, trying to break out of them. And yeah, just like document my progress as a human being. Yeah, I don't know. I'll get better at it, hopefully. So yeah, if you're interested in that, stick around. If not, that's okay. We just aren't aligned, and we shouldn't be close to each other. But yeah, okay. Oh, and my name is Jen. I never said that, but there you go. That's who I am. I don't know. Hopefully I can speak to the camera without a frog in my throat next time. So, bye.